Hey, this is Alpha 3, Goodtakes and Mistakes, episode 2, Lac de Mt Cenis. It's the same day than episode 1, just 1 hour deeper into the flight. But before I start with the film, I really want to say thank you for your feedback and for your fair comments on the last couple of videos. And to start now, I want to show you where we are, what happened so far, to get you a little bit into the picture. So here you can see the green track. This is my flight path. The circle on the bottom, this is episode 1. If you want to check that out, you can do that. And I pretty much flew along the Inocennt-No. The Inocennt-No is the area along the upper Durance Valley where the airport, the airfield of Saint-Crepin is. Left of the Inocennt-No, you see the Parcours Royal. This is the right, the red track on the left side. And further up, there you can see the Vanoise, and this is actually where I'm heading. We have a closer look now. You see the airfield of Solier. I told you before, you always need an outlanding option here. This is my outlanding option. The flight track with the green dots, this is my intended flight path. And the blue ridge line is a ridge line which marks the Vanoise. And if you fly beyond this ridge line, you go usually into a bit different air mass. And the challenging thing on this day is actually we have blue thermals. We don't see what the air mass is doing. I have to go there to find it out. And the passes here, the Col des Étages and the Col des Sommeliers, are rather high. We have a closer look to them a little bit later. So the challenging thing is you go beyond that ridge line. We have low cloud base, and you drop below the point of no return before you find out how the air mass is working. And this is what this film is a little bit all about. Here we have a look. You can see the ridge line coming up on the left side of my panel. This is Bardonecchia, the town in Italy. We are crossing a bit of Italy here. On the right side, you see the Susa Valley. This valley goes out into the Po area. Turin is at the end of the road there. And coming up, I show you now the passes. There are 3 crucial passes. This is Col des Étages, this is Col des Sommeliers. These are the usual ones. And on the left side, this is Col des Fréjus. This is a little bit lower, this pass, but it's a bit off the flight path, so I just mention it. And on this insert, you can see Col des Étages, 2,800 meters, and you see Col des Sommeliers, 3,000 meters, and behind there is Lac de Mt Cenis. And this is the scenario of that film, and let's see how that goes. So here I'm already crossing the Col des Sommeliers, and the Col des Sommeliers is the highest point in the Alps you can reach with a normal car. If you want to do that, try that, but in summer maybe. So on the right side of the ridge, there's the Lac de Mt Cenis coming up, and on the left side you can see the Modane Valley. And the Modane Valley is actually the valley which brings a little bit of a different air mass, usually into the Vanoise. And I'm actually about to drop below the altitude for clearing the passes behind me. So there's only one way I can go. I need to go further up to the north in order to find some lift, not knowing how the air mass reacts in there. And just flying beyond that pass, there was not really much in the air. So here I'm going a little bit to the left side of the ridge because the wind is coming from the west, from the left side, from the Modane Valley. If you fly in spring, what you can see then is you can identify the slopes with a lot of intensity of the sun, because these are the slopes free of snow. So behind the Lac de Mt, the slope has not much snow. This is actually my intended goal, and you see in front of me there's a slope without any snow, and this was here, you can see it here, and this is where I wanted to go to get some lift here. The wind is coming from the Modane Valley. You see the big Modane Valley coming up on the left side, and I try to go there in order to find some lift. Actually, I found no lift at all as I tried around here, and I came around that ridge, and I'm flying to the Lac de Mt really low. Usually I'm much higher here. This is a picture from the summer. You can see if you arrive there with about 4,000 meters at the Lac de Mt, quite comfortable, and I'm arriving where this white arrow is, quite 1,500 meters deeper, and this is where I'm at the moment. Quite a lot of sink as I approach the ridge. I have the wind in my back, so I hope that I will find some lift as I come closer to the ridge, but it does not look like that. There's a little bit of activity coming up, but just not enough to try it, and so I want to go onto the slope behind the Lac de Mt. Usually in summer this slope works really well, but on this occasion it doesn't look too good. As you can see, the slope is really start to flatten out here, and in these flat bits it's quite often that there is not much lift to find. So I have to turn around. And my next plan is now to go further to the Modane Valley. There's the wind coming up from the Modane Valley, and maybe I find some activity closer to the Modane Valley. There's also a little step in the terrain coming up. You will see it. It's close to the forest, close to the trees, and I hope to find some lift there where maybe the active air is going to leave the terrain, and I'm going there to find something. There was some activity coming up, and I tried to center it.
Hey, das war jetzt ein Gefummel hier raus. That was a bit hard work actually to get this thing done here.
Alpha 3, Zentrale.
Alpha 3.
Bist du schon rübergeflogen nach Folia?
So this is Christian calling a friend from Switzerland. He wanted to know how things work out here in the Vanoise. I tell him that I was really low and that I'm safe now, and my conclusion is if you are high enough you can go on. Actually, he stayed away, and we were only 3 pilots that day who entered the Vanoise. There was another guy additionally in there, and we will have a look at his flight. It is one of the top French pilots. real legend. And at the end of the film, we will see how he handled the Modane Valley. And I'm about to rise now, and my big question is where to go next. Usually my rule is never to enter the same sink a second time. No rule without an exception, and I'm about to break this rule. I'm so high now that I think maybe it is good to follow that ridge in front of me and go into the slope behind the Lac de Mt again. It looks not too bad, and this is what I do now. So there was a little bit of activity here, but not too much. And as I carry along there, it is getting weaker and weaker. So this is why I decide to turn around here, not to lose my valuable altitude. I have the clear feeling that this slope is not working very well at the moment. I hope that I still find the rising air on the way in, but actually things are getting worse. I lose more and more altitude at the moment. And just to say it as it will be, things getting worse, and I will, when I'm at the end of the ridge, I'm as low as I was when I arrived here on that ridge. So much to never go into the same thing for a second time. And then I decided to change the side of the valley. On the side there was nothing really good to find, so I decided to cross the Modane Valley and go onto the other side. And this is a good idea, and on the way to the other side I find my first thermal here. I wanted to get closer to the Solier airfield, and I want to try the other side of the ridge. And sometimes this is the thing to do if the equation doesn't work and you are on one side of the valley and it doesn't work, maybe you have to change. Don't work yourself down till you are too low. Make your decision early enough. I thought it's good to change onto the other side, and this is what I do right here. And so I could climb up, and here I have 3,500 meters again. You can see the Lac de Mt, you can see the slope where I tried, and already I'm high enough to clear the Col de Etache or to clear the Col de Sommelier, and this is what I'm doing right at the moment. I'm going back. I had enough intensity for the afternoon, and I'm going to clear the Col de Sommelier at the moment. I have approximately 200 meters plus, so this is good, and I'm trying to connect into the Briançonnais again. I'm rather low here, but I'm optimistic. You can see the clouds coming up, and things got better and better as I carried on into the south. And I hit the best thermal of the day, 7.6 meter from the bottom to the top. It turned out to be the best thermal in the year. But now I want to go back and look at that guy, Baptiste Inocennt. He went in there at the same route than I do. His flight path is the blue one. We pretty much entered the same spot at the Lac de Mt, so I think it was appropriate to go there. but he really knew what was going on. He made his altitude in the first thermal and he changed immediately onto the other side of the valley. I had to find this out the hard way. I tried 2 times the slope behind the Lac de Mt, and then I went onto the other side. So for me, it was a good feeling to see that my decisions were not too bad. It just took a bit longer. And check his flight out, 800 and something kilometers that day. He was at the Furka. It was a really good flight. And there's another iconic flight he made last year. Check the flights out. They are in the description of the video. And that's it. That was my day in the French Alps in the Vanoise. I learned so much that day. I hope I could share that with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. There are a few episodes to come up. And this is Alpha 3.